Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching. A big thank you to over 400 people that have subscribed to this channel, this YouTube channel, Playing It Forward Coaching. If you haven't already, please do so. It'd be much appreciated. I'm really, really happy to be talking to a gentleman I've known for a long time and have huge respect for, and one of the giants in the South Central tennis community, attorney Craig Diehl, who's going to share with us some of his memories and comments about the 2021 CityCounty tennis tournament, which actually began in 1920. So Craig, welcome, and tell us a little bit about some of your memories yourself and wherever direction you want to go, my man.
Well, thank you, Tim, for the gracious invitation to spend some time with me today. So very nice of you to do that. City County tournament, certainly I participated in it for decades, and certainly brings back a lot of fond memories. More so when the tournament was held at Farker Park. Back in my younger days, tennis was a huge sport at that time. During the tournament, the place was absolutely packed with spectators every evening or afternoon during the matches, especially on the weekends. 3, 4, 5 rows deep sometimes for some of the bigger matches over the years. I remember how the tournament, again, back in my early 20s, was 128 draw. So you rarely see that anymore. So I actually think the one year that first year I won, I had to win either 7 or 8 matches over a 2-week period to win the tournament. It was that large of a draw. So it's really changed over the years. Unfortunately, tennis is like other sports. It's cyclical. And there's just a lot of different things for the kids to do today. So I don't think you see as many tennis players as you did back when I was growing up. But certainly it's a wonderful sport, and a sport that I can still play now that I'm 60 years old.
Well, and Craig, you were saying that there was like 128 in the draw, which is totally insane and everything. What was it about that tournament that at that point you think that drew such great numbers? Obviously, like I said, there's a lot of distractions now, but as far as it going, that kind of interest, what do you think the difference was?
Well, tennis was certainly peaking at that time. I certainly remember one of my summer jobs while I was in high school was manning the Spring Grove tennis courts, because the usage was so heavy that people would have to, there were 6, 7 people waiting for courts, 6 or 7 courts to be used, not people. It was that popular of a sport back then. And I had to monitor the courts to make sure people played for just an hour, and then the next crew of people could get on. So certainly times have changed, and I would love to get back to that. But tennis is a little more of an expensive sport, and it's, with today's budget, with COVID pandemic, it makes it a lot tougher for some of these families to be able to afford lessons, pay for the indoor court time and things like that. But back in the, when I was in my early 20s, everybody played the City County tournament. It was the biggest thing in York County for tennis. And that was just the way it was. Today, a lot of the best players in the area do not play. I'm not sure why, but everybody played back then, and it was a 2-week period. So it was certainly an event. It was a social thing for a lot of people to come and watch. They usually had food and beverages after the matches. So it was just a very nice evening. And Farker Park is such a historic and beautiful place in the middle of the summer that it was just a tremendous setting to hold the tennis tournament.
Sure. Well, I know you won it a number of times, Craig. How many times did you win this? I know it was a lot.
I believe I won 12 times. And I think Jim Kohr and I, which I'm very proud of, won 25 years in a row in doubles and never lost a set.
Wow.
So that's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. 25 years and not even losing a set. That's
right.
You can't do much better than that. And how about what's your memories? Do you have any memories of one of the other legends besides yourself and Jim Kohr with Dr. Gil Rothrock?
Well, Dr. Rothrock, certainly, I looked up to him tremendously. We've never really crossed paths. He was a little older than I, and I started playing tennis. I did not start playing tennis till I was 15. So we kind of missed each other. I did get to hit with him 1 or 2 times over the years. And he, even at his age, at an older age than I, could still hit the ball as clean as anybody around in the area. So we always looked up to him. He would always tell us a lot of great stories of when he played, especially the one match against Jan Bortner, which, people tell us it was either the Rothrock-Bortner match or the 1 year, the Kohr Diehl match. That was the greatest match ever in at CityCounty. So both of those were best of 5 sets.
Wow.
And so, I guess it depends your era as to which one match you would vote on. But Gil was very well respected and was always at the matches, especially the finals, when Jim and I would go at it for many, many years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and tell us a little about Jimmy Kohr. I mean, he's won, I don't know, 19 or 20 of these city counties, or a huge number. I know. You recall how many it is?
Jim's in the high teens. I know that. Certainly he's ahead of me. Jim and I, we kind of grew up as adversaries, and Jim was 7 years younger than I was.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point in time, I think Jim and I both realized that he and I could be actually good for each other, in that in York County at that time, I mean, we were pretty much heads and shoulders above, the rest of the county. And Jim and I ended up practicing together almost 4 or 5 days a week, running, training, lifting weights. And we really pushed each other to become better tennis players. And I got to be honest, but for Jim Kohr, my tennis career probably would have ended a little sooner. He's the one that kept pushing me and, kept getting me out to practice. I was, a young attorney at that time. So certainly I was trying to get established in my career. And Jim went the tennis route, and he's a very good teacher. But, we kind of went from rivals to good friends. But when we stepped on the court for the city-county finals, we were always rivals.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it should be. You can be competitors on the court as well as in respected friends off the court. How about that newer young gun now, that Phil Myers guy, who's kind of, taking over, running it and everything? What's your view on Phil?
Well, I played Phil only once in my life. The last time I played the CityCounty tournament, I was 51 years old. I'm not sure how old Phil was. I think he was in his mid-20s, and I played a really good match and was able to beat him. But Phil has improved significantly since then, and has turned out to be a very, very strong player, and now one of the best players in York County. So I certainly respect the dedication and the time that he put in to become a better player. Coming out of York College, I would have considered him an average player, but he has certainly climbed the mountain to become a very, very strong player, one of the best players now in Central Pennsylvania. Sure.
And as far as the upcoming years with the city county, I mean, they started this in 1920. That's what Phil and I were talking about. Is it's arguably in South Central PA, and certainly here in York, the longest, if not the longest, running sports event that is in this area for sure. And as far as the future of it and that kind of thing, what are your thoughts?
Well, certainly we would love to see it continue. I thought, the difficulty with the condition at Farquhar Park, I think, kind of put a little bit of a black mark on the tournament, and that the courts just weren't up to the condition to hold a tournament like the city-county tournament anymore. I had mixed feelings about moving it to a private club. I think it may deter a little bit from people getting into the tournament. Farquhar Park, everybody knew where it was. It was a little more centrally located. So people from Hanover coming to play CityCounty at Wisehaven, they've got a significant drive just one way to get to their matches. So it would be nice if we could get back to a centrally located area with a central tennis director that was solely just in charge of running the tournament. I think that's what you need. I mean, it puts a lot on Phil to try to run the tournament and then also play in it. And I just think it would be best to have a neutral person and a neutral site. So hopefully one of these days we can get back to that. Sure.
No, that would be super without a doubt. So How about with your remembrances or thoughts as far as Jim Overball, who I'm going to be interviewing a little bit later today?
Well, Jim and I are very good friends also. Jim and I don't know if you know this, both went to Bloomsburg University. So Jim's a little older than I, so I've kind of followed in his coach steps in that way. Jim was a tremendous athlete. A lot of people don't know that about Jim. Everyone thinks that Jim Overball as a tennis player. Jim Overball was an excellent basketball player and probably could have played at college if he so desired. So he was that talented with his athletic ability. But Jim and I, over the years, we played a few tournaments together in doubles and certainly respected him as the owner of Wisehaven and certainly tried to support him in his endeavors while he was the owner there at the indoor club. And he did a great job over the years with that.
Sure, sure. Well, and two others that you're pretty familiar with, sure, would be Jenni Goodling and Laura Glitz. Any commentary on those two phenomenal ladies?
Sure. Believe it or not, over the years, practiced with both of them a lot. In high school, I don't know if you know this, Tim, but in my senior year of high school, I had to play Jenni Goodling in the men's or in the high school singles final. So I had played her earlier in the year and had beaten her, but it was close. And she had beaten all the other boys, and we had very, very good teams that at that point in time in Spring Grove, but she had beaten our number 2 and 3 players. So I'll leave it to this. It was a very nerve-wracking experience having to play a girl in the finals because it was a no-win situation for me if I did not pull that match out.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs match back in the early 70s,
Absolutely. That brings back a lot of memories. And Laura was also a tremendous player. I mean, obviously, both played on the tour. And Laura and I, when her parents owned Yorktown, we would practice together a lot indoors and out on the clay courts. So, she could hold her own with pretty much all the men in York County. So she was just an outstanding tennis player in her day also.
Sure, sure. Well, Craig, this has been fantastic. I'm glad you were able to, share some of your memories with Dr. Rothrock, Jim Kohr, Phil, as well as Laura and Jenni Goodling. It's been fantastic. Any closing remarks you'd like to say here?
No, I think for the younger people, I certainly would encourage them to stay with tennis. Tennis has been just a tremendous asset for me over the years, not only with playing, but getting to meet a lot of people over the years, getting to travel to places that probably I never would have gotten to travel to. And what's really important is having lifelong friends. A lot of my tennis people are now clients of this law firm, and it's because I knew them through tennis. And, it's a real big community out there. It's a very loyal community. And it's all something we all have in common. So if we have the passion for the game, it's something we can play our entire lifetime and, get great exercise and also have lots of great friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, very well said, Craig. Can you hang for a minute or two once I close this down, please?
Sure, no problem.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It was an awesome, some memories and some great things there that you brought up, and we appreciate your time very much, Craig.
Thank you for having me, Tim. It's great to see you also.
Thank you, sir.